Good afternoon, class. My name is John Carson, and this is for Nursing 440, and this is my Lucid relationship map on vulnerability. So here I have two levels on my map. On the top, we have two subsets that represent social and health problems that contribute to health vulnerability, what we've been discussing in the last few weeks. Here on the top half, we have migrant health, infectious disease, and poor living conditions. I chose these three because I feel that they're closely interrelated. For migrant health, they have low socioeconomic status and low access to health care, specifically primary care, preventive care. Then you have infectious disease. Most of the time, people that have these kinds of diseases are in poor living standards. There's no preventative services such as immunizations or vaccines for children. And then you have poor living conditions. Most of the time unsanitary environments, unhealthy food choices and lifestyles, and multifamily homes where you have multiple people living in the same home, often multi-generational when it comes to migrant health workers. These all lead to health vulnerabilities. The poor living conditions leave them susceptible. Infectious diseases are more apparent due to lack of health care and preventative services. And these two contribute to the society of the migrant health worker, the migrant worker who the migrant worker who is either here illegally or legally on a green card is left in these conditions due to poor wages. And these three contribute to health vulnerabilities. They're interrelated within each other. Here on the lower half, I have poverty and homelessness, mental illness, and addiction. I feel that these are interrelated and with themselves. With the homeless, you have low access to care. And then with mental illness, this usually goes undiagnosed, is undertreated, and this population is usually neglected and overlooked. Same can go with the homeless and those living under the poverty line when it comes to whether or not they have a mental illness. Then comes addiction. A lot of these come from this type because they have had some kind of traumatic event, or as Dr. Harris said in last week's TEDx video, they have ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences, poor health, and they do dangerous activities. So you can interrelate these three, your homeless, addiction, and mental illness. They all kind of play into each other. Most of the time, those that are homeless, in my experience, in Vallejo, California, a lot of the homeless do suffer from mental illness and are undertreated and seen at some of our open facilities. And a lot of them have fallen into addiction due to living under the poverty line, having a low SES, and basically living in a part of town with more gang activity and more access in an environment unhealthy with addictions, leaving these patients in the community to health vulnerabilities. And then we have these lines here, which interconnect all six of them together to health vulnerabilities, because I believe that you can pinpoint and draw connections between all of these. Perhaps a migrant health worker is homeless, which leads to poor living conditions, could lead to addiction. As a child growing up, it could be from a single family home. They could have experienced a traumatic health event, which could lead to a mental illness and homelessness, which gives them a greater vulnerability to infectious diseases due to low health care and preventative services, and to the poor living conditions that can contribute to a wide range of health conditions. Bottom line is, with these all interconnected, leaves them more susceptible to chronic diseases, addiction, and lifelong illnesses as adults. So I hope that you enjoyed my little presentation on my Lucid chart and the 6 interconnections to health vulnerabilities. Thank you for listening.